So what's going on, guys? My name is Violent. Welcome to GRIZZ Zombies. Today we're going to be talking about eye color. It's something that's very intriguing, especially if you're from past Call of Duty Zombies games, Black Ops, World at War. Coming into Black Ops 3 here, we got some more eye color that's happening, and the new comic that came out. If you guys are not familiar with the comic, there are 6 issues altogether. If we have a look online, you'll notice that June 21st, 2017 is when comic issue number 5 is coming out. So all you guys seeing comic issue 6 here, the cover, that will not actually come out until later. We have to get through comic issue 5 first. But seeing that issue 5 isn't releasing until June 21st, we will already have experienced E3 at that time. So if you guys aren't aware, E3 will take place before then. We'll get our World War II zombies fix and maybe a little something from Treyarch. I'm not sure, but we will have E3, rest assured, before comic issue number 5. And the new image today, sparking all this new controversy with the eye color, does not come out until August 23rd, 2017. So even further into the future right now, but I wanted to update you guys on these dates so you're aware of when comic number 5 and comic number 6 are coming out, okay? So let that be the good all be all while we discuss what is actually going on. So we got Richtofen. He's got some different eye colors happening. I guess to start things off, we need to compare this picture to the very first comic. If we compare the two Richtofens, they're pretty much in the same spots. On the left, we have the zombie Richtofen who's controlling the zombies behind him. On the right, we actually have a Richtofen that's been repaired. The zombies are chasing him. Starting in the first comic leading to now, there's been some sort of change in the undead Richtofen that we know. And that's what we need to discuss today, is the undead Richtofen and why his eye colors are the way that they are in comic book number 6. Definitely one of the most fascinating things. We'll talk about this more on Sunday as well during the podcast with Jimbothy. But I'm going to read a part of the timeline for you guys. It's something I feel I just want to bring to the channel because it's something I brought to the podcast itself. So Richtofen returns to the lab under Alcatraz, where he meets Victus, arriving from the empty Earth with the Chronorium. Upon reading the Chronorium, Richtofen discovers numerous timelines documenting their fates and learns about the blood vials. He would later write on the page, "I know now what I must do." Edward Richtofen, July 4th, 1941. Richtofen enters a rift and acquires the blood of Sal and Finn. Those are the blood vials we know of that are on Richtofen himself. After delivering the blood to his younger self and recovering the blood vials belonging to Victus, our transit crew, he returns. Victus is placed on ice to be kept safe until they are needed next. So this is actually on the timeline for July 4th, 1941, and we believe this is where the last comic is going to give us some more clarity. 100%. This is what's going to happen for the last comic, how it's going to be and go about. The story of our Richtofen actually becoming zombie Richtofen is a little unclear. Maybe we'll have explanation as to that, but I'm hoping we'll get to see this underground lab under Alcatraz. But Jason Blundell did say to us, Mob of the Dead has a different place somewhere else. And so we're thinking that the next game is going to be focused on Mob of the Dead. Maybe the starter map will be the full version, like the Giants, downloadable extra map that came with the game. Black Ops 4 might have something like that, that is Alcatraz, and it's the entire island, so it's all fully next gen, so they're not restricted by the 360 anymore. They can unleash it. The full map, a map we're not used to with that size and quality. So Mob of the Dead is a perfect opportunity for them to do that. So I think that's going to be more of the aspect for Black Ops 4, as well as breaking the cycle. They had to set up completing the cycle in Black Ops 3. Think of all the different dimensions within the timeline we know of. They're all sort of next to each other, and that creates somewhat of a boxed area that we can't go outside of anymore. Those are the brackets that Jason Blundell was talking about. And the reason it's all fractured is because of the glass mirror effect we talk about, where all these dimensions weren't touching at one point, but pretend you hit a hammer on a mirror and it broke, and now they all jumble into each other. And those are the fractures that we're seeing within our timeline, why things have kind of interfered in different maps and such. With the release of Chronicles DLC 5, I mean, we can go and play these maps anytime we want now. Whether you find new Easter eggs or not, the story right now seems to be pretty solid. You know what I'm saying? So we're just filling in gaps now as we talk about it. And so bringing up the discussion of eye color is important. And that's pretty much why I made this video to begin with. It's because Richtofen's eyes are a little bit messed up, and I want to talk about why that could be. Comic issue 6 does show our premise Richtofen that we know of wearing the same clothes. He's sort of recovered, he's repaired himself, and some sort of time rift or shift has caused this to happen, and as a result, we're seeing some sort of different undead Richtofen. This is one I think that has become more conscious and can actually work with the Ultimus Richtofen we know from the Black Ops 3 timeline. It's very important you can understand that the Ultimus Richtofen we know of works with other Ultimus Richtofens within the timeline. They all work together, and that's what's special about Richtofen, is he can work with other versions of himself, his exact self in the same timeline. And we're only recently discovering this as we start to read the timeline and understand it more and more and discuss it with other Zombies YouTubers. Like I said, this Sunday I will be hosting a podcast with Jimbo, and Greg FPS will be a part of that as well. So be sure to tune in for that. But right now we're talking about Richtofen taking the blood. After this, he gave the blood to his younger self. But why would he do that? He delivered the blood to his younger self and recovered the blood vials belonging to Victus. That's when he returns. But the reason he actually got the blood vials of Victus was because they came to Alcatraz, but they were delivered by the undead Richtofen. So this is what the comic's going to be based off of. But the more I talk about it with all you guys, I don't think this is going to explain exactly how Richtofen came to be the zombie Richtofen. I'm not sure if it's going to actually explain that, but I do think it's going to focus on telling the story of zombie Richtofen delivering the transit crew, potentially under Alcatraz. I'm not sure if it's going to be through a teleport, but it seems that the zombie Richtofen has been leading our characters along this path and moving zombies at them a certain way to sort of direct their path, and I think that is through the work of our Ultimus Richtofen in Black Ops 3. It's important we understand that, because this is how things are changing. And this is where Black Ops 4, or whatever that title is going to be, the next Treyarch game, is going to be going off of. And so understanding the comic and understanding where our Black Ops 3 timeline is something I want to help with, and that's why I make these videos and try to explain it in the most clear, most relatable way to you guys. In Black Ops Moon, we have the ending, which changes the eye color of the zombies. It goes from the orangish yellow to blue, as we know of, as control is shifted from Samantha to Richtofen. Richtofen's in control of the MPD all throughout Black Ops 2, so we have blue eyes on the zombies. That's how it works. Oh, but then you're going to come at me, whoa, 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 whoa. Violent. There's red eyes on these zombies too, right? That's right. And as we know, these are cursed dimensions, forgotten mentioned dimensions. That's a tongue twister in itself. As we saw in the timeline trailer, the summoning key sinks into the map and starts writing history, and that's what the Keepers used as a tool to actually write history. And remember, Dr. Monty is a Keeper, and there's only one summoning key of all the dimensions. That's why it's such a special artifact. So remember, the world of Revelations is a world created outside to control the entirety of the timeline that we're seeing. That's what Monty cares about. He cares about his perfect world and the vision within that, and that's what he wants to keep. But he's seeing differences in somebody out there right now, and that's Richtofen, so we have it in our head that there's a potential hatred happening with Monty and Richtofen, and Richtofen has found ways to evade certain death. And Monty is one of those Keepers who only cares about his perfect world. And so that's why he's become so powerful, because Revelations is the area that controls the entirety of the rest of the timeline. But what isn't widely known or told to people is that the dimension within Mob of the Dead and all of Black Ops 3, where it all takes place, is Dimension 63. And that dimension does not get destroyed. In fact, that dimension continues while the rest of the storyline is affected. That may in fact explain why the cycle continues, but it also explains Monty intervening, meaning that the red eyes represent Dr. Monty being in control. But I don't want that to discourage any possibilities of where the timeline can actually go. There's dimensions like 2210, where the innocent Richtofen's soul is captured by our Ultimus Richtofen, brought into the house. No more is explained about that dimension, where more can be developed for the future of our timeline. So it's not all over, guys. I just didn't want the new image in Comic 6 to confuse you. It's just describing the point in time in July 4th, 1941, where our Victus crew, the transit crew, arrives from empty Earth, delivering the Chronorium to our Ultimus Richtofen. Somehow, the undead Richtofen's going to play a factor here. Hopefully, we'll have some clarification as to how the change happened from the first comic to the last comic. The pictures are clearly different, but it is a version of our Ultimus Richtofen. So with that said, the eye color, hopefully we'll have a little more explanation, but what I'm thinking right now is that Dimension 63 primarily is Monty's control because he intervened. So that's what I want to take away from this video. So if you guys are new, be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you guys subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Viollent out.